In a society that often insists on fitting men into rigid molds, either the dominant, loud, and assertive alpha or the agreeable, approval-seeking beta, there exists a far less understood archetype that quietly defies classification: the Sigma male. He does not participate in the social hierarchy the way others do. He neither seeks to rule over others like the alpha, nor yearns to be accepted like the beta. Instead, the Sigma male charts his own course, walking independently of the system altogether. Often described as a lone wolf, he thrives in solitude, guided not by societal norms, but by internal principles and a deep sense of self-direction. The Sigma male values independence above all else. He is self-reliant, introspective, and emotionally reserved, making him difficult to read. He moves through life with quiet confidence, uninterested in fame, status, or external praise. Where others chase validation, he chases mastery. He's the kind of man who can spend days immersed in his work, without needing to share his progress with anyone. His goals are personal, and his victories are often private. This psychological distance from the world around him lends him an air of mystery that others may find either intriguing or intimidating. Yet, for all his composure, the Sigma male is not immune to anger. When he is wronged, disrespected, or pushed too far, his response does not resemble the emotional outbursts commonly associated with alphas, nor does it mirror the silent suffering often seen in betas. Instead, his fury is different, controlled, deliberate, and unerringly precise. It does not come in waves of shouting or visible resentment. It comes in decisions, silence, and unexpected consequences. His anger is more like a surgical strike than a brawl, a cold, efficient reaction that often leaves others shocked and unsure what just happened. This unnerving calmness in the face of emotional provocation sets the Sigma male apart. He is not reactive, he is reflective, and when he finally decides that a line has been crossed, his response is measured but unmistakable. Whether through a sudden withdrawal, a quiet dismantling of relationships, or a complete emotional shutdown, the Sigma male's reaction is almost always unexpected, leaving those who challenge him unsettled. In the sections that follow, we will explore the 8 specific ways Sigma males respond when pushed too far, and why these reactions are often more powerful than any loud confrontation. 1. Weaponized silence, the power of withholding words. Anger, for most people, is loud. Voices rise, tempers flare, and arguments escalate into verbal chaos. In emotionally charged situations, people often feel compelled to speak, sometimes without thinking, believing that more words equate to more control. But the Sigma male defies this instinct. His response to provocation is silence, sharp, intentional, and deeply unsettling. He doesn't shout, argue, or lash out. Instead, he becomes still and quiet, choosing to withhold his words entirely. His silence isn't passive or fearful. It's a psychological weapon, honed to precision. In moments of tension, he may offer no more than a steady, unreadable stare. His body language remains calm, his posture relaxed, and his mouth closed. This unnerving quiet forces the aggressor to face their own fury without a target, without feedback or reaction. Their anger has nowhere to land. It ricochets in the empty space, growing more uncomfortable by the second. People expect conflict to escalate in noise and emotion. The Sigma's refusal to participate upends this dynamic, often making the other person feel foolish, erratic, or even exposed. What makes this tactic so effective is how deeply it challenges social conditioning. Most are trained to seek validation through verbal engagement. The Sigma male silence signals something more profound than words ever could, that he refuses to entertain immature displays of emotion. In doing so, he maintains control over the situation, not through domination, but through composed restraint. His silence becomes a boundary, a mirror, and a subtle message. You are not worth my energy. In a world where speaking up is often mistaken for power, the Sigma male demonstrates that silence, when used deliberately, is the most commanding voice of all. 2. Knowing when to stop arguing. The exit strategy. The Sigma male is not opposed to discussion. In fact, he often values clear, logical conversation and is more than capable of engaging in deep, intellectual debates. He is open to disagreement, so long as it is rooted in reason. But the moment a conversation shifts from respectful exchange to emotional volatility or ego-driven bickering, he mentally checks out. To him, arguing for the sake of arguing is a waste of energy, and once he determines that no meaningful resolution can be achieved, he enacts his exit strategy. Sometimes this withdrawal is verbal, a sharp but calm statement like, "This conversation is over." Other times, it's physical. He simply walks away, offering no further explanation. This choice isn't cowardice. It's control. He refuses to indulge in drama because he understands that staying in the chaos only gives it power. Where others might feel the need to win the argument or get the last word, the Sigma male is different. He knows that true power lies in knowing when to stop. His detachment is often maddening to those who seek conflict. They may pursue him, needing closure, validation, or a reaction to feel victorious. But the Sigma male has already mentally moved on. The issue to him is resolved not because it ended in agreement, but because he chose to remove himself from the emotional quicksand. He doesn't need to be right in someone else's eyes. His validation comes from within. This approach often leaves his opponents confused and frustrated, unsure how to continue a battle that the Sigma male has no interest in fighting. In doing so, he not only preserves his energy but also exposes the shallowness of ego-based arguments. His ability to walk away isn't avoidance. It's a refusal to degrade himself by participating in fruitless conflict. 3. Rapid decision-making. The cold calculus of anger. Anger typically clouds judgment. Most people, when pushed beyond their limit, become impulsive, saying things they regret, making decisions they later walk back, or acting out of pure emotion rather than logic. But not the Sigma male. For him, anger is not a storm. It's a trigger for clarity. In moments when others unravel, the Sigma sharpens his focus, assessing the situation with a cold, almost analytical detachment. His mind doesn't race chaotically. It calculates outcomes. He instinctively runs through a mental cost-benefit analysis before reacting. If the issue is minor or born from a misunderstanding, he might offer a single clarifying sentence and choose not to escalate. If it's senseless drama, filled with emotional bait or immaturity, he deflects entirely, refusing to give it attention. But if the offense is serious, if someone has crossed a personal line or betrayed his trust, he acts swiftly and without hesitation. This could mean terminating a relationship, walking away from a toxic business deal, or erecting unmovable emotional boundaries. There are no second chances once that line is crossed, only consequences. What makes this behavior so unsettling to others is the Sigma male's emotionless precision. He doesn't shout. He doesn't flinch. He decides, then acts, cleanly, efficiently, and without drama. People aren't used to seeing anger expressed this way. They're used to explosive outbursts or drawn-out grudges. The Sigma's approach feels almost robotic, which only adds to the mystery surrounding him. It also gives him a strategic advantage. While others are tangled in their reactions, he's already executed a well-planned response with maximum impact. Every action he takes in anger is purposeful. He doesn't waste energy venting or plotting revenge. If he makes a move, it's final and calculated. This ability to remain intellectually present, even in moments of emotional turbulence, makes the Sigma male a formidable and often intimidating presence when provoked. For ego restraint, the absence of prideful reactions. For many, conflict is a battle of egos. Insults are met with louder insults. Posturing is countered with more bravado. The goal isn't always resolution. It's often about saving face, dominating, or winning social approval. But the Sigma male doesn't engage in this kind of theatrical sparring. His ego, while present, does not control him. He has trained himself to restrain pride in favor of purpose, which allows him to navigate tense situations without taking the bait others so eagerly snap at. When insulted, the Sigma male doesn't feel the urge to respond with aggression or retaliation. If an apology will bring closure and prevent future disruptions, he offers it sincerely, without needing to prove that he was right. If someone tries to assert dominance through puffed-up talk or chest-thumping behavior, he remains still, offering a disarming nod or walking away entirely. It's not because he fears confrontation. It's because he finds it unproductive and beneath him. This refusal to play the ego game unnerves people. They expect tension to escalate, for tempers to flare, for pride to demand satisfaction. But when the Sigma male stays composed, unshaken, and unmoved, it confuses and often frustrates those trying to provoke a reaction. His calm presence shifts the dynamic entirely. He denies his opponent the emotional reward they seek, and in doing so, silently asserts psychological dominance. Rather than chasing symbolic victories, like having the last word or humiliating someone in public, the Sigma male focuses on real-world results. He's interested in fixing the problem, not performing for an audience. His ability to control his pride gives him immunity to manipulation. He doesn't need validation. He doesn't need to win in the eyes of others, and because of that, he can't be baited into unnecessary conflict. By removing ego from the equation, the Sigma male becomes a master of emotional control, intimidating not because he is aggressive, but because he is unshakably composed. 5. Forgiveness without forgetfulness, the mental ledger. The Sigma male is not driven by bitterness or revenge, but he is far from naive. While he may appear calm and composed in the aftermath of betrayal or disappointment, he is quietly adjusting his internal map of who can and cannot be trusted. Forgiveness for him is not an emotional reset, it's a practical choice. He chooses to let go of resentment, not to reconcile, but to protect his energy from being consumed by anger. Holding a grudge in his eyes is wasted effort, but forgetting? That never happens. The Sigma male keeps a mental ledger, a private archive of every slight, lie, or betrayal. This doesn't mean he's vindictive. It means he learns. He may interact with the person again, may even smile or collaborate professionally, but access to the deeper levels of trust and vulnerability will be permanently restricted. The relationship is recalibrated. The dynamic has changed. And while the offender may believe things are back to normal, the Sigma male knows better. He will never be caught off guard by that individual again. What makes this trait so effective is its subtlety. The Sigma does not announce his changed perception. He doesn't broadcast his boundaries. He enforces them quietly and consistently. There are no confrontations, no second chances, and no explanations. He simply stops depending on those who have proven themselves unreliable. And in doing so, he prevents repeat offenses. His emotional detachment becomes a shield, one that allows him to remain calm, protected, and always one step ahead in both personal and professional relationships. 6. Delayed detonation, the long game of retribution. Perhaps one of the most unnerving qualities of a Sigma male is his mastery of delayed retribution. When most people are wronged, their reactions are immediate and emotionally charged. They argue, lash out, or seek instant payback. The Sigma male, however, plays a far more dangerous game. In the moment of conflict, he often appears unbothered, cool, collected, maybe even indifferent. But beneath that calm exterior, a much more complex process is unfolding. Rather than acting out of impulse, the Sigma begins planning in silence. He takes mental notes, gathers information, and positions himself strategically. If necessary, he distances himself while setting the stage for a future move. Days may pass, weeks, sometimes even months. And then, when the timing is perfect and the impact will be most deeply felt, the consequences arrive. It could be a severed business relationship, a quietly blocked opportunity, a legal move, or a social disconnection, so complete that the other party never recovers their former influence. What makes this tactic so devastating is the total lack of warning. The offender assumes the Sigma male has moved on because he shows no visible signs of plotting revenge. There are no angry glances, no cold remarks, just silence. But when the retaliation comes, it is precise, calculated, and irreversible. There's often no obvious link to the original offense, which makes it impossible to prepare for or counter. This long game strategy is not rooted in malice, but in principle. The Sigma male doesn't believe in pointless revenge. He believes in justice that serves a purpose. His cold, methodical approach ensures that those who harm him learn a powerful lesson, without theatrics, without chaos, and often when they least expect it. His enemies don't see the blow coming, and by the time they realize what's happened, he's already moved on. 7. Emotionless eye contact, the unbreakable stare. There are confrontations where words become weapons, raised voices attempt dominance, and emotions boil over. But But when the Sigma male is cornered into such a scenario, he doesn't resort to noise. He uses something far more unsettling: unwavering, emotionless eye contact. His gaze is unflinching, steady, and eerily calm. There's no twitch of the mouth, no tightening of the brow, no flash of fury in his eyes. He simply looks directly, deeply, and without reaction. This expressionless stare is not accidental. It is a deliberate act of psychological control. While most people engage in visible emotional exchanges during conflict, the Sigma male strips the moment of energy. He denies the aggressor any feedback. No anger, no fear, no submission. His eyes, devoid of emotion, signal a level of inner stability that cannot be provoked or shaken. What makes this tactic so powerful is its silence. The aggressor, who may be yelling or posturing, suddenly finds himself in front of an emotional void. There's nowhere for his anger to land, no fuel for his fire. In this silence, he becomes hyper-aware of his own volatility, while the Sigma maintains a statuesque calm. The message is clear and chilling. Your rage has no power here. That quiet defiance, conveyed without a single word, often forces opponents to retreat. Not because they were shouted down, but because they were psychologically outclassed. 8. The zero revisit rule, permanent closure. Conflict is inevitable in life. But for the Sigma male, closure is final. Once a conflict is resolved or a boundary is crossed, he enforces what can only be called the zero revisit rule. There are no second rounds. He doesn't circle back to rehash old wounds, doesn't bring up past grievances and future disagreements, and certainly doesn't reopen burned bridges. This mindset is not rooted in bitterness. It's about discipline. Emotional clutter weighs down the mind and poisons future decisions. By closing the door completely, the Sigma male protects his peace and maintains clarity. If he says a matter is resolved, it is. If he ends a relationship, whether personal or professional, it stays ended. People who try to reignite old conflicts are met with silence or outright dismissal. He has no patience for cyclical drama or emotional manipulation masquerading as closure. This unwavering finality sends a clear message. His boundaries are firm, and his decisions are not open to renegotiation. Others may try to test this, assuming time will soften his stance. But they quickly learn that the Sigma male is not one to revisit lessons already learned. His life moves forward, streamlined, focused, and free of toxic attachments. That kind of closure is rare and immensely powerful. Conclusion: the Sigma's greatest strength, control fury. The Sigma male's anger is unlike any other. It does not erupt. It doesn't scream or explode. Instead, it sharpens into focus, into strategy, into quiet execution. His fury is not a wildfire that consumes everything in its path. It is a scalpel, precise, deliberate, and effective. When provoked, he does not retaliate in obvious ways. He silences, he exits, he disengages, and if necessary, he enacts consequences that are irreversible and devastating in their timing. There are no emotional theatrics, just cold calculation. This restraint is his greatest weapon. In a world where people are easily provoked, easily manipulated, and constantly reactive, the Sigma male's ability to remain composed under pressure sets him apart. He lets logic, not ego, guide his decisions. Every reaction, or lack thereof, is intentional. He is the calm in the storm, the still force amid chaos. And that calm, when fueled by quiet anger, becomes something others cannot predict, control, or survive. That is what makes the Sigma male truly dangerous. Not his volume, not his bravado, but his terrifying, unshakable control. Do these ideas resonate with you? If you found yourself nodding along or reflecting deeply on the traits and experiences we explored in this video, I'd love to hear your thoughts. The Sigma male mindset isn't often talked about openly, and your perspective, whether you identify with it personally or have encountered it in others, adds valuable depth to the conversation. Drop a comment below and let me know which part hit home the most for you. Have you seen these traits in yourself or someone you know? Your insights help build a community where authenticity and growth are prioritized over popularity and performance. If you're drawn to this kind of introspective, no-nonsense content around Sigma males, psychological strength, emotional intelligence, and high-value living, there's more waiting for you. Explore the other videos on this channel for deeper dives, actionable insights, and raw truths that cut through the noise. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay sharp, stay grounded, and stay unapologetically real. Until next time,